Tuesdays, what do? We team up with our friends over at Westside Auto Pros, and usually Ron's here, but he's on a special trip. So Joe, the other car guy, is here this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. What are we talking about?
Today we're talking about facts about spark plugs.
Spark plugs get sparked, everybody.
So if you weren't falling back asleep, you are now.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for keeping it real with us this morning.
Make it fun.
We always learn something we never knew about our vehicles. Spark plugs. I'm not a car person. I know they're supposed to be there.
You drive one every day, though.
I do drive a car every day.
Yes.
I know spark plugs are supposed to be in it. I really have no idea what they're
We have 4 or 6 of them.
doing.
Yeah, yep.
So,
or if you got a V8, you've got at least 8.
Yeah.
give us the details on what is going on with spark plugs.
Spark plugs still exist in cars, no matter how much technology they put into cars. It's required.
You got to burn the gas somehow.
Unless you drive a diesel engine, you have spark plugs.
Oh.
Explain the cylinder engine real quick. You can do it. The cylinder's there, spark plug up at the top, little gas there. It sparks, it burns the gas. The cylinder moves up and down. That's how the engine works, Jackie.
That's it.
Yeah, that's your
basic.
internal
That's your,
combustion engine.
and with all the technology we have going on, that's still how your engine works.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, I mean, as technology grows, people assume I don't see spark plugs when I open my hood. Well, that's
Right.
because they got 4,000 plastic covers or they got 2,000 parts in the way of them now.
Yeah.
But
Well,
they're
so they
still
can
there.
charge you more to replace them.
Exactly. We actually get to that.
All right, so let's start at the top of this. What can we learn today?
Spark plugs, they no longer cost a couple bucks for the actual plug. I mean, you know, you used to be able just to go buy a set of spark plugs for $10, throw them in yourself, and away you went, and it was no big deal. Unless you're doing that on your lawnmower now, that no longer exists.
Yeah.
They put precious metal actually in the end of the spark plug, which we'll show a picture of here. That helps with fuel efficiency and spark. On the right, the piece that looks like a mechanical lead pencil coming out, that is the actual electrode that's got the precious metals that are built into it.
Okay.
So that's what causes the spark actually has to jump from that to that hook piece that's coming out.
And that's when you get your spark gap checked, it's that gap, correct?
Yeah, that's when you hear spark plug gap, that's what it is. It's the gap between that electrode and coming across. On the left is I mean, that's worn out, it's done. That spark plug can't efficiently jump the spark between those two places. That's going to cause your fuel economy to go down because it's not running efficient. It can cause the engine to actually misfire, which means that it's not in time, it's not running correctly.
What's going to cause that? Is that just wear and
That's
tear?
age and miles, yeah. Spark plugs do last longer. I mean, that is true, but they don't last forever. There's not a spark plug you can put in there and just drive your car until it breaks.
What time frame are we looking at?
Most vehicles now are around 100,000 miles. Some vary, you know, 5 to 10,000 in either direction. There's very few out there now that are still doing every 30,000 miles. I mean, I could count them on one hand.
So I get a sense, like, you know, it seems to me, and you tell me, like, you're running a spark plug's going bad, say in a 6-cylinder car, all of a sudden you're running 5 cylinders, you're going to feel it.
Oh, yeah. Yep. You can get a check engine light that'll come on.
Yeah.
You can get a check engine light that'll actually flash because the spark plug is more or less died.
And at that point, you probably should have had it checked long before that anyway, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You're at 150,000 miles.
By the way, what he just described happened to me on the drive-in. Flashing check engine.
Oh, perfect.
I really think that I'm going to be stopping by later.
Yeah, exactly. We'll give you the address. But it can also do, I mean, that few $100s worth of maintenance can actually prevent thousands of dollars worth of repairs because you can damage that cylinder that you were referring to. I mean, there's valves, there's catalytic converters, and all of those things, the cost is going to go, you know, through the roof.
Are spark plugs things that automatically get checked if you get an oil change or anything like that? Or how
They're
do we
mileage
know?
based because of how a lot of spark plugs are more or less buried, for lack of a better term, in the engine now. So what we have to do is go off the manufacturer's mileage recommendation. We check that when you do come in for an oil change. We'll look at your odometer, and you're at 95,000 miles.
Might want to check the spark plug.
Yeah, you know, XYZ manufacturer says they're supposed to be changed by 105,000. So at some point in the next 10,000 miles, budget for this because it's coming.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Well, what else can you tell us this morning?
Well, the other thing is on a V8 engine, some of them even have 2 spark plugs per cylinder now.
Oh.
So you could have up to 16 spark plugs that need to be changed in your vehicle.
Was that maybe like a big SUV? What needs that kind of power?
Like the Hemi Dodge Rams.
Well, sure. That's huge.
They use 2. There's European vehicles that are using 2 that are the high-end performance luxury car. But they still need to be changed. They don't last twice as long because there's two. They rely on both of them to work together.
Okay.
So one cylinder, two spark plugs?
Yeah, exactly.
Just because of the volume inside the cylinder?
Correct. Yeah. However they've engineered the
Wow.
the spark or the engine itself requires that to function correctly.
So like you said, the spark plug, it isn't a couple bucks anymore if you're running to an auto parts store and wanting to pick one up and replace it. So what are we looking at
You could
cost-wise?
spend $15 to $35 per spark plug just on the actual part alone before, that's you doing it at home. For a repair shop to do it, it's easily going to run you several $100s. It could be $300 to $500 pretty easily.
To change spark plugs?
Anymore to change spark plugs. And,
Boy,
and
things
people
have
have
changed.
that impression that it's going to be less than $100, and unfortunately that doesn't exist anymore because of what they've done with technology and how they've designed engines.
Well, I drive a Mercedes and it's a laptop surrounded by plastic. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, I know there's an engine in there somewhere, but you dig and dig and dig, and I know just enough about cars to be dangerous. So I usually end up at the shop with all the plastic parts in the back seat.
Yeah,
Could you please fix what I tried to do?
those are in the back when you get done fixing
Yeah.
it.
It used to be you could open the hood and do a few things yourself, and now there's not much
You open the hood, you'd climb in the engine bay because there was room.
Right. And
Change
now
your spark plugs in 30 minutes and away you went.
wires and air hoses and computers, and
Yeah, some vehicles you have to tell them that you've changed the spark plugs. You have to go in through the computer and say, hey, we did a service on it and this is what was completed.
Right.
So what do you recommend? Just make sure you keep up your maintenance with your vehicle, make sure they're working as they are, and if you do see a light come on or you start feeling that tug, get it in as quickly as
Yeah,
possible.
exactly. The biggest thing or the best advice is to follow the manufacturer's recommendation on the mileage for them. That's there for a reason. The people that try and stretch it are the ones that they don't like the news that they get the $2,000, $3,000 bills because something else has been damaged.
All right. Well, Joe, if people have any more information or questions that they want more information from, where can they find you guys?
They can find us on the web at www.westsideautopros.com. We're on Northwest 92nd Court, just off of Swanson Boulevard, or 225-9090.
There you go. Learning all about spark plugs this morning. Thank you, Joe.
You bet.
Appreciate it. We'll be right back. We're going to give you more fun headlines.